Good afternoon. Welcome to the second Facebook chat on the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. Today, we plan to answer your questions regarding the 2023 Mandela Washington Fellowship Program application. And before we do that, we let us introduce ourselves, and then we'll talk briefly about the fellowship and how you can apply. My name is Shanta Stafford. I'm a public diplomacy officer here at the U.S. Embassy, and my job is to manage the cultural exchange programs, including YALI and Fulbright and Education USA, and I also manage our alumni engagement, and I'm here today with Felina, who will introduce herself.
Yeah, thank you, Shanta. Hello, everyone. My name is Philantu Luvanat. I'm also working at the public diplomacy section in charge of the YALI and the alumni engagement. So without further ado, I will go back to Shanta to continue the presentation. We are eager to talk to you today and answer all of your questions.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and get started because we want to leave time to answer your questions. So first, the first slide is tell me about the fellowship. And so what the Mandela Washington Fellowship is an opportunity for up to 700 outstanding young leaders from sub-Saharan Africa to participate in a 6-week leadership institute in the United States at a U.S. college or university. You have the opportunity to share experiences and learn from U.S. citizens and other fellows. Alumni will also have the opportunity to explore industries beyond their daily work and attend a summit with other young African leaders where they'll have the opportunity to meet with U.S. government, civic, and business leaders. And another goal of the program is to strengthen leadership through connections, skills, and ideas. Next slide. So when you apply for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, you would have to select one of 3 different tracks, and they are business, civic engagement, and public management. So I'll explain those a little bit more. For the business track, fellows get an overview of the U.S. government, the United States entrepreneurial strategies in the for-profit sector and its socially minded enterprises. Fellows will have an opportunity to examine the development, history, challenges, and successes of U.S. enterprises in both the United States and in global markets, while also fellows will have the opportunity to discuss their related challenges and opportunities on the African continent. So it will be a type of exchange. And fellows will have the opportunity to develop key skills in business and entrepreneurship, such as business plan development, sustainability in business, marketing, business ethics, and international trade, etc. The next track is civic engagement. Fellows get an overview of how U.S. citizens have shaped U.S. history. You get an overview of the government and society, both as individuals and as groups. The Civic Engagement Institute will help define civic engagement, study its development in the United States, and examine different U.S. case studies with a particular relevance to the African continent. And the public management track, fellows will give an overview of how regional economic and workforce development, financial management, and global knowledge economy shape both domestic and foreign policy. The Institute programming will look into topics such as rule of law, education, public health, climate change, and environmental sustainability. And fellows will have an opportunity to develop skills and approaches as they relate to policy development and evaluation, public finance, budgeting, ethical leadership, and good governance. So that is the overview of the different tracks. And now I will turn it over to Felina to discuss how you can apply for the fellowship.
Yes, thank you, Shanta. First of all, I would like to remind people a little bit about who can apply for this program. We're talking about the YALI Mandela Washington Fellowship Program. So we have repeated this many times, but Just a reminder for everyone that applicants will be not discriminated against on the basis of race, color, gender, religion, socioeconomic status, disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity. The Mandela Washington Fellowship Program is open to any young African leaders who meet the following criteria. First of all, the age. It has to be between 25 and 35 years of age at the time of the application submission, which is before September 13. Although exceptional applicants younger than 25 will be considered. Of course, the citizenship, the applicant should not be a U.S. citizens or permanent resident of the United States. Because of the nature of the visa that we're going to give for this fellowship, the applicants should be also eligible to receive United States J1 visa. The employees of the U.S. government or immediate family members are not eligible, such as U.S. Embassy staff, USAID, or other U.S. government entities. Applicants have to be proficient in reading, writing, and speaking English, so English is a requirement, and are citizens and residents of an eligible sub-Saharan African country. So if you reside in Madagascar or in the Comoros, then you are eligible for this fellowship. If you are a Malagasy or a Comorian living outside of your country, but still in sub-Saharan Africa, then you are still eligible to participate in this fellowship. And of course, we are looking for somebody who have not yet participated in this program, so are not yet alumni of the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program. How do we select the fellows? It is very important to remind that as well. Once again, once the applicant is determined to meet eligibility requirements, then the panel will use the following criteria to evaluate the applications. First of all, a proven record of leadership and accomplishment in one of the tracks, which is public management, civic engagement, business and entrepreneurship. Another criteria is the demonstration of commitment to public or community services, such as volunteerism or mentorship. The ability to work cooperatively in diverse groups and respect the opinion of others will be also considered, and a strong social and communication skills. We want somebody who expresses themselves orally and who can defend their ideas in front of different people from different backgrounds as much as possible. An energetic, who has a positive attitude and demonstrated knowledge, interest, and professional experience in the sector or the track that was mentioned before, which are public management, civic engagement, and business and entrepreneurship. Last but not least, a commitment to return to Africa and apply leadership skills and training to benefit the applicant's country or community after they return home. What we mean by returning to Africa is returning to your home country. So either returning to Madagascar or Comoros, or at least to one of the sub-Saharan Africa, because this program is meant to invest in Africa's future generation. So that's about how we're going to select the fellows and who can apply. Maybe I will ask Shanta to remind people a little bit about the timeline, because it is fast approaching.
Yes, it is. Next week. So the fellowship application opened on August 16th, and it will close on September 13th. So that is next week. After applicants are reviewed by independent readers in U.S. embassies and consulates in sub-Saharan Africa, the U.S. Embassy in Madagascar will begin to conduct interviews for qualified applicants. These will be the semifinalists, and we'll do that from November to January 2023. All applicants for the fellowship will be notified of their status, whether they are a finalist, alternate, or not selected for the 2023 fellowship. This will be done by late March. Everyone will be notified by then. After that, finalists will travel to the United States in mid-June 2023 to complete their 6-week academic and leadership institute and attend the summit. They'll attend the summit and then return to their home country. I will say in May 2023, that's when we will do our visa interviews and our pre-departure orientation. So I skipped that. Also, we talked about, I think in our last presentation, the professional development experience, which is a follow-on program that up to 100 fellows will have an opportunity to participate. So if a fellow is selected for that professional development experience, they will start their work placements from August through mid-September 2023. Next slide.
Yes. Last but not least, this is very important to remind before we close our presentation today is how can I apply? Of course, remember this website, mwfellows.info/apply. You need to go to that website to access the application because this is the only official website where you can submit your application before September 13 next week, as Shanta mentioned. So any other applications aside from that link are not valid. So please remember to use the right link, the right website. The Mandela Washington Fellowship uses an internet-based application system, so you will need to access to either a computer or a mobile device and the internet to apply. That means that paper applications or applications by email attachment will not be considered. You may submit only one application during the open application period. Submitting additional applications will disqualify you, unfortunately. So if you do apply more than once, all your applications will be rejected. So just make sure to submit just one application for this period. Please also note that the 2023 application has changed and all previous applications have been cleared. So if you have submitted an application last year, then nobody will see that anymore. You need to register again at the mwfellows.info/apply in order to complete a very new application for the 2023 application. I think we don't have any planned slide anymore.
Yes. Okay. So I think we've reached the end of our presentation. So far, you've learned about the Mandela Washington Fellowship. You've learned about the business tracks, who's eligible to apply, and how to apply. So now we'll go ahead and open up the presentation for questions. And that way we can end the presentation after your questions have been answered and you can go and apply.
Yeah, let me see if we have questions. I think we have a question here from Lazan Yusu. I'm from Comoros, but currently lives in Senegal. I am eligible to apply. Shanta?
Senegal is considered sub-Saharan Africa. So yes, if you are Comorian and you're living in Senegal, which is a sub-Saharan African country, then you are eligible to apply for this fellowship.
Yes. We have other questions here.
And no, you do not have to be in Comoros to apply, if that was your follow-on question.
I have a question from Alexandra Karen. What do you mean by exceptional applicants? Can you give us examples of what can be qualified as exceptional? We'll let Shanta start with the answer.
Okay. So what we're looking for are applicants that are well-rounded, that are leaders, whether in their community or in their profession, that have excelled in their career, whether it's educationally or whether it's through volunteerism in your community, or whether it's through your personal pursuits. that could be business or entrepreneurship. So we're looking for candidates just to have a wide range of experience and have a track record to show that they've been able to solve problems, identify problems, provide solutions, or just excel in their career or in their community. Have anything to add?
Yeah, I think you are totally right. Exceptional applicant. We're always talking about this exceptional because this is a competition. So, we are looking for 700 young leaders in total from Sub-Saharan Africa. So I know that you all are doing a great job. But to be able to be selected as part of this program, you need to be exceptional. So it depends on how you highlight all of your achievement, as Shanta mentioned. How did you make a difference compared to the others? Remember, this is a competition, so don't be shy to talk about your achievement, to talk about your ambition, to talk about your plan, because we are also looking for potential leaders who are eager to make changes, positive changes in their community, in one of the tracks, which is civic engagement, business and entrepreneurship, and public management. So it really depends on your answer to the essays in the applications, but please make sure that you don't neglect any details that make your application strong. Talk about any specific things that someone else didn't do, but you was able to do that. So I think that makes you an exceptional and a strong candidate.
I agree. And I do want to add, you mentioned that this is a competition for young African leaders, and we want to see your potential. So in order to do that, you have to tell us about your achievements, and we have to, in reviewing your file, be assured that you have the potential to be a leader. So I think it's important for you to take note of that and be able to communicate that to us in your application.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You have already responded to the follow-up questions. Do I need to be in the Comoros in order to apply? The answer is no. If you reside in one of the sub-Saharan African countries, then you are okay to apply wherever you are. We just want you to come back afterwards. Come back to Africa, but not to France or to any residence which is not part of sub-Saharan Africa. Somebody's thanking. Thank you for this, Andrea. Thank you for this session. Which document do you suggest us to send, please? Resume, transcript, certificate. Want to respond to that question, Shanta?
Sure. Yes, you will, when you apply as a part of the application, you will be able to provide information on your resume. You will need your transcripts and certificates that you have received. So you'll provide that documentation to us. You want to add anything else?
Yeah. In fact, you are allowed to upload at least 3 attachments to your applications. Make sure that the attachments are relevant to your applications. You don't need to upload any documents, but documents that will help strengthen your application, such as letter of recommendation, for example, in English, please. All the documents need to be in English because the readers are all understand English, but not necessarily other languages. So if you have a letter of recommendation in French, for example, please have that translated into English. You may want to upload a word certificate as well, recognition of some of your achievement that you think would be worth mentioning, and you want to share with the readers to demonstrate that you've done such a great job in the past. The resume, I don't think it is necessary anymore because it is already included in the application already. You just need to fill out the application questions, and there is a resume part there where you can add all of your education background, your professional background, and the details about yourself. So there is a limit in terms of attachment. So please make sure to refer to the application instructions when you submit the applications. I think, can I? Hi, Aina Malala sent a question. If the application is received, how will the interview be conducted? I mean, how long it lasts, and what are the main questions that the interview will ask? Oh, goodness. Okay.
Well, so the length of the interview, I don't know if that's been determined yet, but it'll last. We'll have some questions to ask you, and no, we cannot provide those questions in advance. That would be give an unfair advantage to other applicants. But just know that the interviews will be conducted with, I believe, 3 people. Mm-hmm. 3 people, a panel of 3 people, and we'll have questions for you, and you'll have an opportunity to ask us questions.
Yeah, I will add on that. Depending on the situation, because for example, there were times when COVID was serious, so we conducted virtual interviews. I don't know this time. Maybe there will be virtual interviews for some circumstances, but we plan to do in-person interviews, and for the duration of the interview, it is about 25 to 30 minutes in general. The interviews are conducted in English entirely, so be prepared for that, in English entirely, because English is a requirement for this program. Also, for the questions, we will ask questions about your application. So almost the same as you can see in the application. So you just need to be prepared to reveal orally all of your answers from the applications, in addition to some details that the panel may ask, as well as follow-up questions regarding your achievements.
Yes, so I think the questions, you may not know them specifically, but you will have the information because it's about your file, about your experience, and questions of that sort. So while we can't give them to you up front, by applying and you're looking at the information that you're being asked to provide, you should be reasonably prepared for the interview.
True. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the interview. Sure. Send your application first. Canto Velo, I forgot to attach my supporting documents. Is it still possible to send it still? Thank you. I would say, unfortunately, no, because we said if you submit another application, if you have already submitted your application, then you don't need to do another application. Otherwise, all of your applications will be rejected. But what we can advise you is, if you're selected for the interview, then you may want to bring copies of the files that you would like to attach, and show that to the panel if necessary. But normally, the additional documents, the supporting documents, are not mandatory, so do not worry about that. They are just supporting documents as it is, but we are quite sure that you have mentioned your achievement through your applications. So these are just supporting documents. No worries if you're not able to attach them at this point and you submitted your application. That's the answer. Fayundina Christina Ramianjasu asked a question on the page. It is stated that exceptional applicants ages 21, 24 will be considered. Is it the case every year? Is it an exception for 2023?
No, we make exceptions for applicants that are outside of the 25 to 35 age range. So it's not an exception. It's not unique to 2023, but it is an exception that we do allow, where we'll consider applicants that are under 25 years of age.
Yeah, that's true. So don't worry if you are under 25 and if you want to apply for this fellowship, because what we are looking for is somebody who can.
We want someone that can grow, that has that leadership potential, and that can use the skills and knowledge that they've learned with the fellowship and bring it back to their own country and be able to affect change and contribute. So that's why we make that exception for under 25.
Okay, Jafari Said Hussein. My question is, if I am very poor man for English language for the interviews?
Well, so the interview will be in English. The application, the information that you write will also be in English. So if you feel that your English skills are lacking in some way, that's a personal choice for you to apply. But just note that English proficiency in English is a requirement. So we're not telling you to not apply. We're just saying be aware that is a requirement, that the interview will be in English. And when you're in the United States, communication will be in English.
Yeah, there will not a translator.
No.
So everything will be in English. That's true. Okay. Question here from Telly Benajina. Hello, sorry I've missed the beginning. And just asking instantly, when is the due date again? The due date again is September 13th. September 13th of next week, which means Tuesday. Don't wait until Tuesday. You have until the weekend to submit your application. So we encourage you to send your application on time. Sometimes there is a lot of traffic.
Yes, at the last minute, because everyone wants to submit it late. So just be prepared for that. But Tuesday is the deadline, September 13th.
Yes. Yeah, we thank you. There's a lot of questions from the Comoros. I don't know if there are other questions that I have not answered so far. While waiting for the other questions, think, did I miss some questions? While waiting for, there's somebody, Ibrahim Madame Mahamat, have submitted in French. How about it?
No, your application, it has to be in English. And as we stated earlier, your documents have to be translated into English as well. So unfortunately, your application may not be considered if it's not submitted in English.
Yeah, that's true. Everything needs to be in English. The application, all the supporting documents has to be in English. All the answers to the questions needs to be in English. Even how they write dates and things like that in the application, you need to follow the instructions and write in English. So for those who are still working on their applications, please, one tips that we can give you as well is to have all the questions in a Word document first and try to respond calmly. Take your time to type your answers in a separate Word documents, and you can review them from time to time, especially now, before copy pasting everything into your actual application and submit on time. So if you doubt about some of the vocabularies to be used, then you still have time to check the dictionary, ask for an English teacher or a friend for the exact meaning of the things that you would like to mention in your application. Asking for advice is okay, but plagiarism is not okay. So make sure that everything is written using your own words, and also considering all of your personal achievements, because you will be asked, and during the interview time, people would love to learn more about all of those.
Yes.
I don't know if Shanta has more tips while waiting for the other questions.
So I would say, and this is in line with what Felina just said. So if you're unsure of how to say something, you can ask someone. You can try to figure out a way to, or use your own words to say it in another way. But please don't copy and paste your entire application from Google Translate. It's not, as a native English speaker, we would be able to tell if it's from Google Translate, because it's not always accurate or how people speak or write. So be aware of that. Also, proofread your application, especially if you're doing a copy and paste. Sometimes special characters like a comma or an apostrophe may not copy or may not show up well. So be sure that you proofread your application, and you can have your mentor or professor or someone else read your application, but please use your own words. Just be sure to proofread. You have time. Well, you have until Tuesday. So be sure to take your time to read through it, but please use your own words.
Yeah, we got another question. I don't really quite understand the question, but I don't know if Chantal does. Well, how about the social networks, please? I don't know to which social networks Diego refers to. Maybe
I'm not sure.
I don't think.
Maybe if you're talking about building connections, because that's what the program, a goal or an objective is, to build connections with U.S. businesses, with the college and university, with the public and private sector. So you'll have that opportunity to build your social networks. And also there's the alumni network that Felina can speak about. So I'm not sure in particular, but of your question about social networks, but there is an opportunity to build connections while you're in the United States.
Yeah, I think so. So there is somebody asking about her age. Tahina Ramalanzon is now 35 years old, and next year 36. Can I still apply? There is a rule on that. If you are still 35 years by the time of submission of your application, which means if now you are still 35 years.
Until Tuesday.
Until Tuesday, September 13th, then you are eligible.
Yes. So if you're 35 this year, and you're still 35 on September 13th, you can apply.
I think that's the answer to the question. To Tahina Ramalanzona, thank you for the question. Another question is, what will make my application relevant, please? What should I emphasize the most, and how to prepare for the interview?
I would say, what will make your application relevant? I think your individual experiences, your achievements, the work that you've done in college or volunteering in your community, or any type of community development work that you've done. So that is what's relevant. It's how you communicate that to us, letting us know about your achievements, letting us know about your goals and what you want to accomplish, and what you can contribute to the program as well, because it is an exchange. And so I think what's relevant is bringing your background, your experiences, and your achievements, highlighting that in your application.
Yeah, I think that one thing that I could add as well is, because this happens every year when we read the application. The applicants tend to be very general and vague. So I think what makes your application strong as well is if you could be the more specific and provide concrete examples in each of your achievement, that will really help the reader understand well your achievement. And that will count, instead of just talking about general things. Like, everyone dreams of ending poverty, but you need to be very specific. How can you end poverty? What is your approach? What have you done so far? And what concrete example have you done so far? I think that talking about your concrete achievements by providing statistics, if you have, providing how many people have you mentored so far, for example, like concrete examples of the results that you've achieved so far, like how many villages did you work with and what type of changes did you make, for example. These are relevant for the readers, and these will make really your application strong instead of talking about vaguely about any specific issues.
Yeah. So highlighting your leadership, how you've been a leader. I think giving examples, statistics, something that we can say, oh, okay, we see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. We see the potential. So that's what makes it relevant.
Yeah. And the preparation for the interview is the same. Just be ready for what you have written and talk about them passionately without any hesitation, because I think that the communication skills will be judged during the interview as well. So be prepared to express yourself comfortably in front of the panel and talk about your achievements with proud. This helps. Yeah. I'll go to another question from Jafari Said Husseini. So my phone translates the documents for applying in French. I write French. Yeah.
Okay. No, we understand that happens. However, the requirement for the program is to provide the documents and your information in English. So that is a requirement for the program.
Yeah, this is just a comments. I think Canto Velocida made some grammar mistakes. Unfortunately, I didn't get someone to check my essay. I should have. Yeah, unfortunately, it is done. But I mean, that happens.
It happened.
Don't worry about that.
I think a couple of mistakes here and there because we realize you're not native English speakers. Mm-hmm. There is consideration for that, but obvious mistakes where we don't have, we're not confident that you can communicate in English, that would be more of a problem. A few mistakes, it's fine.
Yeah, I think Shanta said it all. Don't worry about some single mistakes. I mean, that may happen, typos, but the thing is try to avoid them if possible, but sometimes we are just human beings, it may happen. So don't really, when people are reading your application, they are reading it as a whole as well, but not just per words or per single sentence. Yeah, so.
If we can understand what you're trying to communicate, that is fine. But please proofread.
Yeah. Marco Rakutsafi asked a question, could you give some examples of people backgrounds who were awarded for this fellowship?
I think that's a great question for you.
Thank you. There are many. I mean, we have now 88 alumni from Madagascar and almost 24 alumni from the Comoros for this specific program. And we can say that we have a diverse group of participants. We have people working on the government in Madagascar, some of them. We have ministers now on the government participating in these programs. And we have people in the business sector. They run company, recycling company, protecting environment, food processing, agriculture company. We have people doing handicraft as well, who participated in this program. For the civic engagement, we have women empowerment activists, people, fellows doing a lot of human rights program, doing a lot of youth empowerment program. In terms of, there are also people promoting English, like an English teacher, but who are exceptional English teacher who were selected for this program. So at the same time, they are doing some work for the community, at the same time promoting English language. We have people working for some of the programs that are interest of the embassy, such as the good governance, anti-corruptions, promoting transparency and fair election. People working for the BIANCO, for example, because they are working on anti-corruption issues. There are people working on IUU, fight against IUU fishing. Yes, promoting women and girls. I mean, lots of background, the type of people who participated in this program. This is not limited to one specific area. I mean, I think that is the most important part that needs to be said is this program is meant for any type of leader, whatever your sector of activity. It depends on how you use the skills that you gain from the fellowship, because you can adapt each of the free tracks to your respective job or to your respective visions once you are in country. So thinking about what are the background of the people who participated doesn't mean if you do not have the same background, that does not mean that you are not eligible. Everyone could be eligible if they meet the criteria that we mentioned before, but we just want to make sure that the free tracks can embrace any sector, and I think that is what the program is designed somehow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we may have what are the okay. I think we have responded to this. How many documents can we submit? I think it is written somewhere in the application instruction. You may upload up to 3 documents as an attachment. There is a format for that, either PDF or Word document, I think, but not a JPEG format or heavy file. So what are the required documents? There is no required documents, actually. You just need to fill out the application forms, because the supporting documents are optional, but not mandatory.
Yes, that's correct. So no required documents, but you can submit up to 3 and submit 3 that you think are relevant to highlight in your application.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to respond to Jess slightly?
Yes. Jess, no, it is not mandatory to have an ongoing project in order to apply. The eligibility criteria is based on age. If you're 25 to 35, if you're not a U.S. citizen, not a former fellow, not an employee of the government, and you're proficient in English. So you do not have to have an ongoing project to apply. You're welcome to, in your application, to write about your ongoing project or any information that you feel is relevant, but you do not need an ongoing project.
Yeah. Another question from Hamin. Hi, my name is Toila from Comoros. Hello from Comoros. Is this program is for everyone, or you have special people you target? Okay. Shanta.
The age, 25 to 35 years of age, not a U.S. citizen, eligible to receive a J-1 visa, not an employee of the U.S. government, including the embassy or U.S. aid. You have to be proficient in English. You have to be a citizen and resident of an eligible country. And so basically a country in sub-Saharan Africa. So if you meet that criteria, you can apply.
I don't meet that criteria. I can't apply. You guys are lucky. You can apply.
She cannot apply. I cannot apply. But so if you meet that, then you are eligible to apply for the program.
Yeah, we're looking for any potential young leaders out there who is watching us at this time. And you can tell your friends if they meet the criteria to apply. They still have until September 13th to apply for this program. So please do when you are still eligible, because we can apply. So
absolutely,
it's very unfortunate. It's a great program, I can tell you. film Oshwa. How many Malagasy people will be selected for this fellowship? Yeah, I would say this is a competition in sub-Saharan Africa, and there is no fixed quota. Mm-hmm. But it depends on Washington decision. We did mention in our first presentation, I think a week ago, that Washington is making the final selection for this, even if U.S. Embassy and consulates conduct the interviews and send their recommendation to D.C., the final decision goes back to Washington. And same for the number of slates. It depends. When we have competitive candidates, we may have more than what is initially planned, but usually there were times when we sent 10 to 17 people from Madagascar every year for this program. It depends on the competition. And for the Comoros, we were able to send 3 to 4 Comorians every year for the program. We hope that the numbers increase from time to time, but it's up to you. It doesn't depend on us. It depends on the competition and how competent, how qualified the applicants from both Madagascar and Comoros are. So, I think, we're sharing some tips there. You may want to look at the chat as well for some of the tips that is shared. Nufi and Jane, I'm going to ask a question I just want to ask about the U.S. government professional training section. I mean, the professional development experience, maybe. I followed training from OpenMOOC, so in the city, state, and country. Should I write Madagascar or U.S.? Oh, I think this is this is a different program.
Okay. This is about a MOOC.
Yeah, I think this is an OpenMOOC. We may respond to you later. We are trying to focus on the YALI Mandela Washington Fellowship Program right now. We will have somebody answer to your questions for the OpenMOOC, if you don't mind, please. Question from Cindy Ranjalov. I applied many times, but I failed. I do not know if I did not choose the best track. I work as an English teacher and founder of a spoken English center. Which track should I choose between civic leadership and public management? Thank you. Okay, do you want to try? Or do you want me to?
I will say a little bit, and then you could follow up. I think my best advice for you is to do some research on the tracks and see where your experience and your interests falls. If your background and experience is more relevant and closely related to civic engagement, then maybe that's one that you should pursue. However, if you start looking at your background, your interests, and you may find that public management is something that that's more closely aligned.
Yeah, I mean, public management and civic leadership, it depends. When you choose your track, as Shanta explained, focus on the area of your interest and on your background. You are an English teacher. What is your everyday work? What is your activity extra work? And then you can make a list of things that you are doing currently. If you are an English teacher working in a public school, for example, then you may think about public management because you may want to advance education in the public school. I don't know. If you are rather from the private sector and if you are doing this rather a business, that is something different. You may even think about a business track because you have a spoken English center. So the English center, I don't know if it is if you're providing English courses for free or just or you are having people paid for the classes, then that makes it a business or that makes it a nonprofit organization. So it really depends on what are you doing in your daily life and what is your goal. What kind of change do you want to make in the future? Do you still want to continue in that line promoting English? And English for what? Ask questions. and depending on the answers, you will end up finding the right track for you.
Yes.
Either you go more for the civic engagement, or public management, or why not business and entrepreneurship? Because that could be like a small business in terms of promoting English language as well. So we don't have the answer for you, unfortunately, but we hope that all of our answers help you a little bit make continuation of your thinking on the tracks, the right track for you. Okay. Somebody's asking a question about the diploma to apply for YALI fellowship or experience. There is no diploma.
There is no requirement to have a diploma. So we went over the eligibility criteria. I think what is important is if that's a concern for you, just highlight your relevant experience and let us know more about you. But the requirement to have a diploma is not a part of this program.
That's true. English is a requirement.
Yes.
Also, I want to jump in the diploma. Even if English is a requirement, we are not asking for standardized tests for this program as well. We will just assess your English level through your writings and through the interview, but there will be no standardized test like TOEFL or something like that for you to assess your English. So no diploma, no standardized test for the English. There is another question from Manana Rari. Sorry, I was late for the slide, but I want to know what documents are required to apply. I think we responded to that.
Yes.
No documents required. You just need to go to the website, mwfellows.info/apply. That is the only website where you can submit your applications. You go to the website, you create a login. I mean, the website will ask you to create a login anyway. As soon as you say that you want to apply, as soon as you click on the apply, then it will lead you to the creation of a login. So you will have a login. And once you have a login, you can copy all the questions from the documents in a separate Word format and type your answers. Once you are ready for your answers, after proofreading everything, you can copy paste those and go back to the system and fill out all the information required. Remember, there's an asterisk. So any questions that has an asterisk, you really need to answer them. They are mandatory. If you don't answer those questions, that may affect your application, and your application may be rejected. So these are mandatory information, so please fill those out. And once you fill out all the information in the website, don't forget to click submit. Otherwise, then your application will not be, if you just save, then it is saved in the website, but it is not submitted. So please make sure you click on the submit after you attach all the documents and after you review all the answers that you provided there. So I think that is the only way to apply for this application, for this program. Go to the website, create a login, fill out all the mandatory informations, and click on submit before September 13, guys, before this coming Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. Another question from Fanini and Gianzafi. Can a student apply for this fellowship, Chantal?
Yes, if you meet the other eligibility criteria, the age requirement, proficient in English, not a U.S. citizen, not a former fellow, and you meet the age, you can, and not working for the government, the United States government, then you can apply. Students can apply for the program.
Yeah, students can apply for the program. I'd like to, while waiting for the other questions, I'd like to emphasize, because last time we talked about that the fellowship is really inclusive. So please, whatever gender whatever is your gender, whatever disability you may have, even if you are pregnant, you can still apply for this fellowship. And we do encourage you to apply because we are looking for a diverse group of people to apply for this program. This is an opportunity for every young people. Don't worry about your disability issues. If you're selected for the program, the United States have the appropriate facilities and infrastructure to welcome you and to make you fully participate in the program. It's not a problem at all. They will make accommodation accordingly based on your status, based on your physical status or whatever. Same for the pregnant women. If you would like to apply, then please apply. You will even benefit from a prenatal visit while in the United States if you are still under 20 weeks of pregnancy. So we do encourage everyone to apply. Do not hesitate to apply. You still have a few days to submit your application on the mwfellows.info/apply for this program. I don't know if we have other questions. While waiting for other questions, I don't know if Shanta has more tips to share with
I think what we've kind of shared before. Use this as an opportunity to introduce yourself and highlight your experiences. Don't be shy because we don't know you. We want to know more about you. And so the only way we get that information is if you tell us. So tell us how you have been able to influence your community or make influence on your job, in your profession, how you've been able to help others, how you've been able to demonstrate your leadership skills and abilities. And I think that's what's important. Just making sure that you can, you give us the relevant information and show that you have the potential to be a leader in your country and that you've already demonstrated that. And then give us examples on how you've demonstrated that. The other advice, be sure to proofread, read it over, make sure that you're telling us what you want to tell us and that it makes sense. You can have someone else look it over for you just to do a review, but please make sure it's your own work. Do not plagiarize. And so I think those are the main points that I wanted to make. And also for the interview, I think we've had a few questions about that. Just know that you have all the information in your file and just being able to be confident and communicate and answer questions. And if you don't know the answer, then think of, well, how would I solve this problem? Or what would I do if I had the ability to make changes? So just think of it in that way. And I think that's all I have for advice.
I think Shanta is providing you lots of advice, guys. And thank you, Shanta. These are really relevant in terms of finalizing your application at this time. My advice every year is really, please, I know, guys, how are we in Madagascar? How are we in Comoros? Sometimes we are waiting for the last minute to submit those applications. And we regret when there's a traffic or when there's like electricity cut. You never know. we are in the middle of delestage, electricity cut in Madagascar. So when you are ready, don't hesitate to submit your application. Don't wait for the last minute on Tuesday, please. And once again, I want to go back to the Google Translate because I've experienced reading your application using Google Translate in the past. I would advise you to check the dictionary instead because sometimes one word from Google Translate may really betray you in terms of making your application strong. I think when you are not sure, I think the dictionary is the good friend to help you for that. And I think we have another question. So there is somebody.
And if you don't know, instead of the dictionary, think of another way to change your sentence. in your own words, that would make sense. So it's nice that you can show us that you know colloquial, like United States phrases in English. That's great, but if you can say it in another way in your own words, I think that will be more beneficial.
Yeah, I think so. The age limit is 35 years old. So we're looking for young leaders under 35 years old, or at least 35 years old by the time of application submission before September 13. Yes.
So yes, that is the age limit with some exceptions for under 25. But the maximum age is no older than 35 at the time of your application submission.
So once again, you have until September 13, Tuesday, to submit your application. If you would like to go to the United States, participate in this great program, you will stay there for 6 weeks at one of the outstanding American universities for 6 weeks to learn leadership, to take some leadership training on business or on civic engagement or on public management. And we'll spend more time, 4 weeks more, if you are selected for the professional development experience for this program. So this is like a unique opportunity, guys, to strengthen your leadership skills. If you are thinking of connecting with other young leaders, this is a great opportunity. So please do not wait until the last minute to apply for this program, because now is the application still open until September 13.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just want to I agree. I think this program is an amazing opportunity to just do a culture exchange. I think if you already speak English, it's a different experience to live in an English-speaking country. Even if you're just there for 6 weeks, I think the connections that you would make with not only your American colleagues, but also with other fellows from throughout Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. I think just having that connection and being able to share your experiences and problem solving to find solutions to the problems that that plague sub-Saharan Africa. So I do think it's a very unique opportunity. And so I really do encourage you to apply. And if you're not interested, maybe you know someone that's interested, and especially if you know someone that meets the criteria, then let them know about it. I think that's really important. We want this opportunity to be spread. So apply by September 13th.
Yeah, there is another question there, Shanta, about the program requires a YALI exam. Do you want to repeat the answer? I think
no, the program doesn't have a require. Is that the English language exam?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. So there's no requirement for the English language testing. But the application is in English and the interview will be in English. So you do have to be proficient. And during the interview process, we have to be confident that you can communicate in English, but the exam is not required.
Yeah, another question about the length of the fellowship. I think I just mentioned that earlier ago. It's 6 weeks at an American university, plus professional development experience for 4 weeks, or depending if you are selected, because the second part is another competition. Yeah. But the program starts in mid-June next year. You don't need to go on December. The program starts in summer, so it's in June, mid-June of 2023, if you are selected for the fellowship. Before that, we will start reviewing the applications and we'll notify the finalists by end of March, hopefully. So it's a 6 weeks program in the US. It's actually a total of 12 weeks. 10
weeks. 10 weeks.
10 weeks. But 10 weeks in the US for the program, but the J1 visa will allow you to stay for another 30 days in the US if you would like to continue for a tourism or for visits just after the fellowship. It includes that as well if you want to. So yes, it's a wonderful experience indeed. Unfortunately, I cannot apply. You guys can apply, so please do apply. Is there any, there is a question here. Is there any programs for the older people? Shanta is in charge of all the exchange programs here. She has the answer.
Yes, there are other programs. So there's the Fulbright program. There's the International Visitor Leadership Program. There's Education USA. There's oh gosh, there's so many. There's a lot of exchange programs. I believe you should look at our embassy website. I think we have a list of our exchanges there, and they do not have the age restriction that the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program has. So there are opportunities for those of us that are a little older than 35. So opportunities are available.
Yes, that's true. And please stay tuned. Now is the YALI season, but we have many other exchange programs available.
Yes.
Even for younger too, because I'm sure that the younger than the YALI type of applicants are also eager to know what are the opportunities for them. We do have. Stay tuned.
And please, you're on our Facebook now, so please stay connected and liking us on Facebook because we do announce our programs there. And so then you'll see the opportunities for for the other programs. And yes, the International Visitor Leadership Program does still exist.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Any other questions? Any other tips while waiting for the questions?
No. How much time do we have left?
I think we are almost running out of time.
Okay, so I think we are out of time. So I do want to say thank you for attending our second information session on the 2023 Mandela Washington Fellowship application. If you decide to apply, remember our tips, proofread, use your own words. The deadline is September 13th. So submit by then if you want your application considered. And if you do apply, we do wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And we are looking forward to meeting one of you in one of the interviews because we hope that you will make it to the interviews.
Yes.
So thank you again for attending these sessions. For those of you who have friends who missed the session, this will remain on our Facebook page, so you can go back and forth and watch the recording, and you can get some of the answers. Otherwise, you can still continue sending questions on the chat, or maybe in a private message, and we will respond to you privately if needed. For the other questions which are not related to YALI, we will answer later with one of our colleagues.
Yes.
Thank you again, and see you next time.
Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.